Hello and welcome to MindGrowRadio. I'm your host, Stephanie Kathan, and today I am sitting down with one of my favorite people, Susan Palmer Wood, and we're going to be talking about the power of feeling on purpose. And later in the show, she's going to share some tips from her own personal growth toolbox, so be sure to stay tuned for that. And about today's guest, I want to just share a little bit about who she is and why she's one of my favorite people. After years of being chased by unworthiness and suffering from multiple health crises and experiencing a dark night of the soul, Susan Palmer Wood finally let go of the lifestyle and beliefs that were making her sick. And she went on an inspired journey to heal her body and her mind and her spirit while still showing up as a mom and a wife and a corporate executive. Dedicated to sharing what she has learned, Susan is passionate about helping people move out of their suffering and into a vibrant life full of possibilities. Her signature Breakthrough to Freedom process incorporates cutting-edge strategies that set you free from what's keeping you stuck, and it happens in just a few days, not a few years. She's a master NLP and mental emotional release practitioner, a Reiki master, an energy worker, certified holistic health coach, and my dear friend, Susan Palmer Wood. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Stephanie. Thank you. Thanks for having me here. I'm so excited to talk to you. I don't get to talk to you enough.
I love it's the reason you're one of my favorite mind growers, because every time we engage, I get goosebumps ahoy. And I've mentioned this to you before. I'm like, every time. So I always know that when we get together, there's going to be really fun ripples of mind-growing awareness going on. So I'm so excited to be here with you.
Yay. I'm excited to play. Let's have some fun.
Yeah. I want to just dive into the power of feeling on purpose, because you and I both have experienced it in such profound ways. When you look at your life, right, and you look back to when you were a young girl and then you look to the life that you're living now, did you ever imagine that it would look like this, that you would be living this reality that you are today?
No. No, I didn't have a clue. This is so far from the life that I've had. It's really interesting. What is the saying that in order for you to have the life you want, you have to let go of the life you think you have to have, or something like that? You know, it's just releasing and letting go. So when I was younger, I had a lot of trauma in my childhood. And so I spent a lot of time looking outside of myself for validation. And as you mentioned, kind of being chased by unworthiness and not enoughness. So everything I did was to get significance. And I found that looking for love in all the wrong places, you can say. And, and then what I found was I wasn't able to receive love very well from people because I didn't love myself. And so I dove headfirst into work because I could figure work out. I was really good at it. So when I was really young, I started working and I started making money, which was safety to me because it meant that I could be independent. And, I was a workaholic and doing what I thought I should do, doing what I thought I was supposed to do, and doing whatever I could to take care of people and to make other people happy. So, now that I'm on purpose, it means knowing who I am and what makes me come alive. Because when I feel good about me, it means I can serve you, right? But I can't serve you well through my own baggage, through my own garbage. So I had to do my own work.
So true.
Yeah.
So true. So how did you come to discover this power, the feeling on purpose power that you have discovered?
Yeah.
Because what you've created is amazing.
Thank you. I had been on the personal development path for a long time. And, I had gone to many, I call them stackable moments, but I had been to many Tony Robbins events. I had Marianne Williamson. I read so many things, and I watched Oprah, and I went to workshops. And yet I was still really unconsciously really angry because of my past. And I really didn't like myself. And so it's almost like, saying affirmations and saying, gosh darn it, I like myself. And on the inside, it's like, who are you kidding? Right? So what happened is, even though I knew that cognitively, all of this wonderful stuff about loving yourself and putting your oxygen mask on first and being on purpose, I didn't get it in my heart. And so because I had all these ruminating thoughts and anger and doubt and fear and feeling unworthy, it added up and added up and added up and added up. So I was a workaholic. I was a single mom. I was exhausted. And one day I couldn't get off the closet floor, literally.
Wow.
My body gave out. I had learned, and my natural path said, Susan, you got to stop, because your health is a ticking time bomb and you don't want what's next. And I thought, I can't stop. Are you kidding me? I've got kids to take care of. I've got, I was working for Microsoft at the time, and I've got, Windows launching, and I can't stop. And so I had an intervention with my health. It gave out. And in that, it's kind of like the phoenix rising. I had to get burned all the way down to the ground to then look and say, well, normally I would swear, but I won't. So, what the heck am I doing? Who am I? And there's got to be more to life than this. So, with several months where I would have to take a nap when I walked up my stairs because I was so exhausted, and I would take 3-hour-long baths just being. I didn't know how to be anymore. I was just doing. I was doing and having, and I wasn't being. So that, my health gave out. I had phase 3 adrenal burnout. I had chronic fatigue. I had candida. I had autoimmune diseases. I was having migraines. So literally my body was shutting down, and I had no choice but to stop. And so in that process, I did some research on, because that's me. I don't know how to be, so I'm going to look at how do I be. And I looked up, what's the energetic cause of burnout? And I learned about not being in alignment with who you really are. And not, and I'm like, oh, and the power of play. I didn't let myself play. I've been over responsible my entire life. How do I play? And who am I? Without, we wear masks in so many different, we have to show up differently in different situations, but the goal is to have a translucent mask. So you're really being who you are. You're just showing up appropriate to the context. But I was having different masks, and I had to learn to set my mask down and really find out who I am. And so through that process, I also discovered neuro-linguistic programming, which is really the study of successful communication with yourself and with others. That's the most basic way. It's really studying success. And I learned that my thoughts weren't supporting me. I had a lot of limiting beliefs, a lot of negative emotions, a lot of thoughts that weren't supportive. And the funny thing is people still said I was the most optimistic, happiest person around. And that's because I had done all that studying. But on the inside, I felt awful. And so this was really the reckoning. This was really in this neuro-linguistic program training, and I went on to pursue mastery of it. I actually went through a process called mental emotional release, where I let go of decades and even lifetimes and generations of fear, anger, sadness, guilt, and hurt. And it was my awakening. It was me stepping into who I really am and looking at life. It was like opening up a dirty window and seeing clearly for the first time, because I wasn't looking through my baggage. I wasn't looking through my past. I wasn't looking through my trauma. I was looking at now, and I was looking at possibilities and the ultimate freedom. And that's how I got to here.
Wow, that is such an amazing and beautiful and profoundly accurate description of what awakening feels like.
Yeah.
Like for a long time, it was just a word to me that I heard throughout the personal growth industry, you know, awakening, and you awaken to something else. And I was like, what is that something else? I'm not feeling it. And the description that you just gave is like, that is what it feels like. Wow, you nailed that so amazingly. And to have it really craft who you've become, like that awakening, that new perspective that you were able to get inspired this beautiful life that you're living now, which is way different from the one that you were describing moments ago.
Yeah. And it's pretty amazing. And it's not to say, I mean, I do my work every day. I'm still, you know, having a human experience here. And, you know, we have contrast to tell us what we really want. You know, I don't want this, so I do want this. And, but I do my work. And the thing about when you step into your freedom and into who you are, there's no going back, even though it feels like it sometimes. You know, so now my bad moods, like if I'm tired, I'm not taking care of myself or whatever circumstances, it's still higher than it was before. And I think sometimes we forget that. You know, like we do all this work and we're evolving, and then sometimes it feels like, you know, we take 3 steps back, but even those 3 steps back are 100,000 steps further than where we've been, you know?
So true. Wow. So for those people who are listening who may be feeling stuck in suffering, but would like to see themselves living a vibrant life full of possibility, is there like a beginner step that you could offer, or something that they can implement right now to start the process?
Yeah. You know, the first thing is really to do an assessment. And if they're feeling that, then that means that they've kind of woken up from the trance. I said there's a trance, right, is that we're told we have to go get the degree, go get the job, you know, get the partner, have the kids. And then we wake up, we go to work, we do the work, we come home, we help with homework, we make dinner, we go to bed, we get up, we have breakfast, we go to work, you know, and it's a trance. So the people who are ready, I just want to celebrate that in and itself, that awakening. So the first thing that I would recommend is to really do an assessment, right? Like, where am I at now? And where do I want to be? See, because words are labels. So I also want to throw that out there. And what that means is, Stephanie, if you and I were to write down 5 words that mean purpose, we probably wouldn't write down the same words in the same exact order, right? So it's really important. I think it's really easy for us to put pressure on ourselves to be something when we have to recognize that words are different to different people. So figuring out what purpose means to you, which I think is really what your question is how do people, you know, get that purpose? So one is really stop. So if you're like I was at all, you might say, okay, I'm not on purpose. And then you start looking through life with a lens of everything that's wrong, right? I'm unhappy here. I'm unhappy here. I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what my purpose is. And we start incanting, I don't know what my purpose is. And so just stop and have some grace for yourself. And then start to know who you are. Because in that trance, it's really easy to lose yourself. I know I lost myself. So find out, who am I? And a good way to do that, which was really eye-opening for me, is to find out what your values are. So we have many different life areas. So to actually back up a little bit is kind of assess, where are you feeling like you're not on purpose? Is it career? Is it relationship? Is it personal development? Is it fun? Is it health? Where are you feeling like you're not on purpose? And be honest with yourself. Rate it on a scale of 0 to 10. And then ask yourself, what's important to me in this life area? And I call that eliciting values, and that's what I do with my clients. So let's say it's health or career, which is a really common one. What's important to me about a career? And you can even have a friend or someone ask that to you, so you could just free write. And you write as much as you can. And then ask it 3 times so that you really empty out. And then prioritize it. And then look at your top 5 values, the ones that show up. And don't look up values. This is coming from you. What are your values? What's important to you? And you just do it by saying, what's important to me? And then look at, how am I living these, or how are these values showing up in this life area? Let's say it's career or health or whatever. And work on being those values in that life area. Because when you know who you are and you're being, the doing and the having will flow naturally. So get in touch with who you are, right? Take a Myers-Briggs test, which is your personality test. I love going back to it and reading about me. And if you go to 16personalities.com, it's free and it's a quick quiz, and you learn about your tendencies, careers that are good for this personality type, etc. What is your love language?
That's interesting. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, it's so
cool.
great. Yeah, it's really fun. And then you can get your family to take it too. I know, all of my family took it, my friends. And even, going back to values, my husband and I listed our values because we wanted to know how to make each other happy in relationship from a values perspective. So knowing who you are is really important. Myers-Briggs, love languages, and ask yourself what you can do how you can be more of that, in your life. And then go ahead.
I just want to, our time flies so fast. Every time I get with you, it's like a blink, and then it's over. It goes so fast. I want to delve into your own personal growth toolbox. Mm-hmm. When you were shifting and you were going through these things, did you have a process that you used, or you mentioned that you took long baths? That was one of them that helped you be. But do you have any other tidbits that you might want to share of how you kind of took that leap into that, and tools that helped you do that?
Yeah, I journal a lot, and I did it from a point of curiosity and not judgment. I think that's another thing. So check out the difference.
Ooh.
What do I want?
I love that.
Right?
Can you just repeat that again? Because I just want to savor that for a second. That was really big.
Oh my gosh, what did
you journal from a place of
curiosity. Yeah.
Curiosity, not judgment.
Yeah. And it's things like, instead of, what do I want? Or, what do I want? Right? Notice the difference there? It's bringing love and curiosity into it. So I journal a lot, and I reflect a lot. And I would just start looking at, I looked at my thoughts a lot. And if there were thoughts that weren't supporting me, I would reframe it and choose a different thought. I would pay attention to what gives me energy and what doesn't. And I would start eliminating the things that don't bring me energy or passion or purpose. So it's just getting curious. Oh, I'm laughing. Let me note this situation. I'm happy. What am I doing? I'm feeling grounded. What am I doing? I'm feeling fulfilled. What am I doing? So it's really getting curious and paying attention. It is very
mindful,
much so.
Like you're being mindful of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
I also do, and I incorporate self-care without beating myself up for it. So as a type A doer, I didn't give myself permission to rest. And so I just gave myself permission to say no to things and take care of myself and not feel like I have the fear of missing out. And I would give myself permission to take a nap. Sometimes 20 minutes is like a miracle. Just, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I want to take a nap. Okay, 20 minutes or whatever, or take a bath at any time or go walk with my dogs. So I started taking care of myself and just getting curious and paying attention to how I feel. And the other thing, Stephanie, before we run out of time, is I want to, one of my number one things is for people, once they get to know who they are and what's important to them, is to know how they want to feel instead. And when they journal that, how do I want to feel, then when you have it. You can recognize it, right? How many times have we chased after something and not really known what we're going after, so then when it's right in front of us, we don't even recognize it.
And that's so true. We want stuff, and sometimes we don't even know why we want it. We just think we want it, and if we really thought about it for a second, we really might not even want it at all. Mm-hmm. But sometimes we're like, oh, it's shiny, I want that.
Yeah.
And when you be mindful about it and ask those questions and put it in that perspective, you might start thinking different ways. Well, you will start thinking different ways. You'll start being mindful and being aware of your mind chatter. And I love the things that you shared. Susan, where can people go to learn more about you and connect with you and tune into you?
The best way is to go to SusanPalmerWood.com. And I have a contact page, and I'm also, I would love to give a complimentary coaching session to anyone who wants to connect with me and let me know what's going on in their life, and I would love to be of service.
Wow, that is a beautiful offer and an extremely amazing gift. Thank you very much on behalf of my listeners. Wow, that's really, I'm teary and goosebumpy, and it happens every time I'm with you.
I know. I just have this huge smile on my face. I love spending time with you. So thanks again for this opportunity to chat.
I just adore you. I love how you're showing up in the world. I love the ripples of awareness that you are creating. And I am so, so glad that you came into my awareness. Listeners, go check out Susan Palmer Wood and tune into her brilliance, because you will get teary and goosebumpy too. Trust me. And stay tuned, because Mind Grow Radio will be back with more mind-growing guests and more meaningful conversations that grow your mind. Thank you, Susan Palmer Wood, for being our amazing guest today. Listeners, until we meet again, keep shining in your brilliance. Stephanie Kathan signing off, and we will see you on the other side. Bye-bye, everyone.